Good afternoon. I declare this an open meeting for the Town of Barnstable Board of Health for Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022. Roll call, please.
Yes, hi. Dr. Guadagnoli, Tom Lee,
Here.
Dr. Canna,
Here.
John Norman,
Here.
and I know Dr. Leskow isn't able to make it, and Stephen Waller. All right.
So that's three. We have quorum, so we'll continue. This meeting of the Board of Health will be recorded and transmitted by the Information Technology Department of the Town of Barnstable on Channel 18. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, anyone else desiring to make such a recording or transmission must notify the chair. Is anyone else recording this meeting? Seeing no one, we proceed to the first item on the agenda. This is a show cause hearing. Pool Mark Flanagan, Vice President of Facilities from YMCA, 2245 Iano Road, West Barnstable, map parcel 215-023, inoperable automatic disinfection equipment. Is anyone here from the YMCA? Come forward to the mic, or you can sit, whatever you're more comfortable with.
Chair, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
The reason for this hearing is because of the incident that occurred on Friday, October 7th, where there was an incident where you may be aware there were a number of children that had to be brought to the hospital. And specifically, there's an inspection report attached to the letter completed by Health Inspector Donald Damaris, RS, which refers to the automatic disinfection unit was inoperable. And when there is a violation of the state code in regards to swimming pools, it's up to the operator of the pool to close his or her swimming pool. It's not up to the health agent. So that is the reason for the hearing, to discuss the incident and the fact that the automatic disinfection unit was inoperable. Thank you.
Great, thank you for that. Welcome, Mr. Flanagan. If you can give us a rationale for the reasoning and kind of walk us through how it came to be and where we're going from here.
Yeah, sure. So, certainly appreciate being here with folks and having.
Push the little button there, the green light should come on.
Yep, is that better? Just want to say that from the Y, we appreciate the time and the opportunity to discuss this. It was really an unfortunate set of circumstances that led to the kids getting sick from the pool and the auto feeders being inoperable at the time. So I'm here as Vice President of the YMCA Cape Cod Facilities and Property Development within my first year, and I'm owning this now. And we have made a substantial amount of corrections in our standard operating procedures to prevent something like this from occurring again. The series of events that took place that led us to the event on October 7th were new auto feeders, new controller for our chlorinator and our sodium bisulfate, our pH decreaser were installed last year. The predecessor, the person that was in my position, left in February. The CPO that we had in place, a certified pool operator, had been managing our pools for six years. Unfortunately, the training to operate that controller and that automation was not transferred over to that CPO. When I started around May, shortly after, about June, I had discussions with this CPO about the systems, and there was clearly some confusion on how to calibrate, how to operate. So my reaction and my response to that was to get the installer on board to provide some sort of training. Unfortunately, during that time, it's starting to be the summer, and I can't get anybody. I have a list of 15 different pool companies that operate with these auto controllers for their sanitation and pH. Can't get a call back, can't get anybody on site. And unfortunately, September 3rd, the certified pool operator decided that he no longer wanted to continue to provide a service to the YMCA, and he left. We did have a certified pool operator on staff, who then took the lead as far as the pool chemistry goes, the dosing, things of that nature. And so she assumed that responsibility at that time. You know, clearly, the standard operating procedures were a little dated, and there wasn't a whole lot of information, you know, to go off of. Had been several change of hands as it relates to facilities and aquatics, which led to some confusion, some human error, and some mistakes. And in order to prevent that from happening again, we have brought in aquatics experts. Dawn has come and visited with us on several occasions, as well as Anthony from Hazmat, to sort of review our progress, review sort of some of the evidence that was uncovered as to, you know, that event on the 7th. And we have taken steps to and put resources in place to revamp those standard operating procedures so that they are specific and there are no gray areas, and that there are no questions, that in the event that these auto feeders go down in the future, the code is that the pool is to be closed. We had to self-close the pool, and we are notify the Board of Health that we are closed, and what the reasoning is, with an acceptable time frame to have that repaired, and we will not open the pool until an inspection is done, and we have been given clearance to do so. We have done an extensive amount of work on our systems as far as labeling, you know, all of the plumbing fixtures from, you know, dirty water side coming into our filtration to clean water side returning back out into our pool. We have had our pool company re-engage with us. We now have them on a preventative maintenance contract where they're out every week. We have also beefed up our certified pool operators. We now have 4 on staff. We have designated our head CPO as our lead maintenance coordinator. His name is O'Neill Pemberton. And we have weekend coverage now where in the event that O'Neill is not available, I would be the second person to respond, which I also have my certified pool operator license, and so on and so forth. So we have put these channels in place so that there is no confusion, that one person is the ultimate responsible person for the pools as far as chemistry, mechanically, anything. We also have included in our standard operating procedures more preventative maintenance, more preventative measures, daily pump room checklists where they need to verify that the chlorination and the acid feeders are working. And if there are any issues, they need to document that, and then I need to be notified right away so that if I have to make a phone call to Dawn, I will make it at that moment, and we will notify our members that we are closing the pool. So that's what I have right now. If you have any additional questions, I'm happy to do so, answer any. I also brought with me the president and CEO of the YMCA Cape Cod, Stacy Pugh, and she has been supporting this effort in getting these things corrected. I have not seen very many people work as hard as I have seen this woman work. She has been there 7 days a week from 5 a.m. with lifeguards as we just reopened until close at 8:30 almost every single day, taking ownership and taking responsibility, as am I here this afternoon.
Okay, thank you for that. Staff, would you like to have any additional information interjected?
No, no. We're happy to hear all the steps you've taken till date. You've worked very close with Health Inspector Don Damaris, I'm aware of that, and you've trained more employees to be certified pool operators, CPOs. We're happy with that. And I'm happy to hear that more steps will be taken in the future to prevent this type of situation. I have nothing else, thank you.
Because the specific violation is that under their permit, they were only allowed to operate under an automatic system, not a manual
Yeah,
system.
that's
So
in the state
as
code.
soon as it went down, they should have shut down because their permit did not allow them. So the violation is that they continued to use the pool outside of the parameters of the permit that they were issued.
Yeah, outside, and also outside the state sanitary code, non-compliance with the state sanitary code at that time, that's
Right.
correct.
Thank you. Any members of the board like to ask questions or interject here? Tom Lee?
From my engineering background with chemical system, I'm wondering if your system is down, do you have an automatic emergency call out?
An automatic emergency call-out?
Yes.
Yes, to our pool provider, our pool service company, yes, we do.
How about in the local wise, in terms of your lifeguard or staff on the site? Do they get a call too?
Yes, we have emergency alerts, emergency text messaging notifications, the chain would be the head CPO verifies that the system is down, calls me, I confer with the president and CEO, and then we make a decision to close the pool, self-close it, and then we make a call to Dawn. That's the sort of the chain of custody series of events.
Because it's a mechanical system, it will always fail. There is always a chance to fail, no matter what happens. So it's very important to have your calibration done, to check it, and then you check all the parameters that you need to make that automation works. That is very critical. I mean, from the engineering standpoint, when I put in the new chemical systems, I have to go and make sure that there's a training for the operator down the line to have it in the same knowledge of the system and how to set it, calibrate it, and so forth before they can turn it over to the owner. So,
Yes, if I may, just to that point, as well as bringing in the aquatics experts to help us refine our standard operating procedures, they also spent 2 days of training on site that was tailored to our pool specifically, as well as the installer and the supplier of the prominent controller, who went extensively over how to calibrate, how to get all your readings, what to look for as far as alarms go, all of those things. So it was a very beneficial. I learned more about pools in a 5-week period than I ever thought I wanted to know. So and I'm fortunate to be in that position to say that. Because there's a lot of pool owners out there that don't have, the resources to put at it that the Y did. So,
one last quick question is do you have a standard protocol, a written standard protocol right now for your new system, for your system?
yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Are all the children that were hurt by this back at the taking lessons and everything?
I'm not sure as far as the aquatic side, if they've gone back into the pool, but all 7 children that were affected by this are back in our after-school program. That was the group of students that entered the water at that time, and they are all back. They were all back, I think it was under a week. All 7 of them came back, which we're very fortunate and lucky to be able to say that. The families have been great. Our leadership team has been great as far as their response and supporting them, as well as giving them their own space. So it's been a really healthy balance there.
Walk me through a little bit. I'm trying to understand the logistics of the notification. So the system goes down, and you kind of walked through, then this person gets called and that person gets called, but it would seem to me that there should be an audible alarm that the lifeguards hear and immediately, out of the water. Is that system in place? Is that the logistics of this system going down? I mean, I understand it's not going to, immediately affect the pool quality and the chemical mixture, because that was affected by, human error of, humans dumping the chemicals in.
Yeah.
But if the machine stops working, technically you're outside the parameters of your permit. So, for a liability reason, I would assume you'd want people out of the pool as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because if anything ever happened, even if it was just a small window, someone could go back and say, well, you were operating outside of your permit. So is there some sort of audible alarm that the lifeguards here that are on the premises at that time to say, look, you got to get out?
There is not an audible. There's been a lot of discussion around that. The environment in the pool with the dehumidification and the exhaust fans is pretty loud. We have talked about that on steps to get that in place. Right now, we have a notification from our controller that when it goes down, it automatically sends an email notification to the head CPO, which I'm copied in, and then from there, we would have to react and notify the lifeguards that they'd have to clear the pool.
So what would be your guess, and I'm not holding it to you, obviously, but just your guess logistically, what would be from the time an alarm went off to when actually people would be asked to get out of the pool?
I would say a few minutes,
Minutes.
yeah.
You're monitoring the emails, the
Yep.
notification? Or?
Yep, well, all of our, I'm required to, have those notifications set up on my email, so immediately somebody sends an email and I get notified, I get pinged on it, so, there are, other ideas that we're, sort of bouncing off of our aquatics experts. These are folks that are in this space every day and understand this at a much higher level than I would. So we're consulting with them on even more steps going forward. To your point, having a similar to a horn strobe for your fire alarm, but something that maybe we could conduit into the controller where there is a loss of power or something to that effect, even just at the top of the stairs or just outside the pump room, where it's close enough to the pools themselves that somebody would be able to hear it, or if it's to the front desk, where there's always somebody stationed at the reception desk where they would get it, immediately, and then they could overhead page it and get the attention of whoever the head lifeguard is on duty.
Okay. Great, thank you very much for that. If there's no further questions, I'll just open it up for any public hearing. Any members of the public that would like to speak on this hearing? Seeing none. What is some of the thoughts of the members of the board? I mean, for me personally, I think this is, a very unfortunate learning experience, but as far as, a penalty or a fine or fee for this violation, I'm not necessarily ready to go there. I think we have this on record, so if there's future violations, if there's future problems, then maybe we'll come down a little hard then, but I'm open to hearing any other members' opinions on that.
I agree with something like that.
Tom?
I don't think that we want to go to the fine, but I think one thing that you should take a look, you may have it already in your program, is to have a testing of the emergency call, okay? So that you just make sure that when you have an alarm, it actually going down the line, that it happens, the communications-wise, So this is normally when people working at the water treatment plant, we test our alarms to make sure it works. That's a DEP requirement.
How about, any comments from Mr. Damaris?
I don't really have anything to add. It's just that they have done terrific work in taking this incident very seriously, and I'm satisfied with their efforts. And this fellow right here, Mark Flanagan, has really been very attentive to any of our needs and, and everything else. So he's done a great job, and I hope we can put this unfortunate incident behind us, but it's up to you.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very important part of our community. I know, I have a special needs adult son that goes there quite a bit to swim, and so, we were like, oh my gosh, when this happened, and, he's had to go to, the Y in Wareham for a while until it's reopened, but, we just obviously want to make sure the public, nothing like this ever happens again, and that's where we're at. So I think we're satisfied with your time here. Appreciate you coming in and answering these questions, and
Thank you.
then, just know going forward, if we have something similar to this in the future, we might be a little bit more stringent.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for coming.
All righty, the next item on the agenda, this is a septic variance request. Dan Ojala from Down Cape Engineering, representing Richard and Lisa Watson, 27 Whitecap Lane in West Barnstable, map parcel 178-026. This is a .84 acre parcel requesting one local and one state variance. This is new construction. Mr. Ojala, again, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Norman, members of the Board of Health. For the record, my name is Dan Ojala. I'm a land surveyor and a civil engineer with Down Cape Engineering in Yarmouthport, and helping Richard Watson, who is in the audience behind me, out with permitting on a site up in West Barnstable. This is a well and septic area, and so because the lot is a little under 40,000, we're automatically in here for a variance to build on the lot. While we're here, we had to come in anyway. We're struggling to get the perk test to work above the water table, and so there's a secondary request to do a sieve analysis instead of, in lieu of a perk test, one of the required perk tests. So that's the summary. I'll just go, because it is a fairly complex site, I'll go through the narrative a little bit. It's both a local and a state variance. The local variance is that construction on under 40,000. It's close. It's 36,734, so it's not far off of that. And this board has, usually carefully considered and granted modest changes to that rule and regulation. And we do meet all the well and septic separations, which are required even by the more stringent local code of 150 feet to wells. What we're proposing here is a small office building. We got the floor plans in on that, some office on the ground level, a bit of parking, and a one-bedroom above, and then a two-bedroom residence on the other side. So it combines into a dual compartment tank, and then because there is some perched groundwater, we're lifting it up 5 feet above that. So we did introduce a pump chamber, and then a pressure-dosed leaching field, which is rather large for the single two-family type system, but that was due to the variable soils in the area. And we feel it will comfortably meet Title V and public safety standards with an oversized field, considering the number of holes that we have in the area that do show perkable soils. So no town water is available yet. This is up in West Barnstable, so they have not run any water here. This subdivision was originally created in 1973. It's a 6-lot. It's called White Cap Lane. It comes down off of 6A, just a little bit east of where 149 goes up and hits the Route 6A. So you take a right, and then I believe it's even the first right here on the White Cap, and we're the second lot on the right. The lot's been vacant since it was created. It is constructed all around it. Peter Sunderland's on the west. There's Oberlander is a commercial building. It's been there for many years and had the septic system upgraded in '02 to our north. There they hit at least 6 or 7 feet of pervious material, and that system has been working fine since that date. To our south, you can see there's a system that's moving forward, Inc. The old post office. The post office system worked for many years, but didn't pass when they went to transfer, and so we did a septic upgrade there that's been functioning well just to our south, which is proximate to our reserve area. We located all the wells and septics, and based on the information of the town and work that we've done around there, it's a 375 gallon per day, so it would meet the, we're under the required gallon per day per acre. The base of the field is 5 feet above the highest perched groundwater that we had. And again, that would be mottles and exactly where it is in the clay type soil, so it's very easy to observe exactly how high that is. In other areas, it was considerably lower, and the true groundwater table would be down somewhat. But nonetheless, it's important to maintain 5 feet, and so we are doing that with a pump. The primary and reserve do not require town or state setbacks, so we got lot line, foundation, wetland, or well variances, so no variances there. Just for soil testing was August and September of 21. It was 9 holes over 3 different days. Dave Stanton was a trooper out there, pouring rain one day, and it was quite a thick lot, but we got through and got a bunch of holes. And 5 of them were suitable. The other ones, there was just more clay or not enough sand in the lens that if we did find one. The perk test that we did was, the material was not great, but we did perk it out, and it slowly went down, 50 minutes to the inch. So with that passing perk test, the only thing we'd ask for you then is on the second passing perk test to use the sieve. When we punch through, there's a good layer of coarse sand down deeper. Looking here, it was only a few percent about passing the 200, so nice, quick perk rate on that one. Design is, we're going to base it on the full 50, so you get a leaching field that's about 3.5 times the traditional size. And our theory on that is because of the variability, at least we'll pick up a significant area which will infiltrate safely into the layers below. It would be a large soil removal and would go down to the sandier layers that are down deeper. There is quite a bit of variation in the soils, coupled with the perched groundwater. It made it very challenging to get the two passing perk tests. The separation between the wells and proposed well is in excess of the required 150, and the added environmental protection of a pressure dose leaching field. We're using that conservative perk rate that is several times the size of a less than 2-minute design flow. We feel the proposed construction with its Title V septic will not adversely contribute to the decline of public or private water or subsurface water sources, which is the standard that you look at for both the less than an acre with the well and septic and for variances under Title V. So that would be my presentation. I'd be glad to go through any of the finer points of the plan, but again, we've got working septic systems on all 4 sides of us. We've got enough soils. It just, to try and do a dewatered perk out there is a tremendous expense. And we've been several times to the site already. It seemed to me logical, since we were in here for a variance anyway, that the board might grant us the waiver on that second passing perk test so that we could move forward without incurring additional expenses out in the field. If you wanted us to do a perk at the time of installation, we could certainly look at doing that. But to move forward, we thought this was the best approach, and I'd be glad to answer any questions if you do have them. Thank you.
Great, thank you for that. This is a public hearing. If there's any members of the public that would like to speak on this item, please come forward. Is the little green light on?
It should be on now.
It should be bright.
There.
There, it's
sorry.
on.
Okay, hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name's Nancy Trafton, and I'm in a butter to the 27 Whitecap Lane property. And I have a couple of questions, and one I'd like to direct to Dan, if I could, to make sure I heard something right. Is that okay?
Yeah, we'll allow that. I mean, typically, we don't want to back and forth, but if it's a technical question, I mean, he's the engineer, that's what he's here for.
Well, I just, if I understood it, you said there's going to be a mixed-use building and a separate residence as well?
Yes, that would be accurate, and through the chair, however formal we want to be. But yeah, there's 2 buildings. The one in the back is a two bedroom dwelling. It's got and then the one in the front is a smaller office, and it's not too much office, and then with a 1-bedroom over it. So yeah, there's 2 structures. The one that is closer to you is slightly larger. Have we been through Old Kings Highway yet on this? I don't know, but that would certainly would have to do that before it was constructed as well.
Okay, well, I guess I'd like to discuss the zoning aspects of that with you
That's,
afterwards,
that's
if I
really
could.
outside of our purview.
No, I
We're just
understand.
here for the septic portion of it, so if you
No, I
have,
fully understand that. I
yeah,
just
so
wanted to throw that
there'll be
out.
other opportunities like Old Kings Highway and things like that you can address those issues.
Right.
This is strictly the septic variances.
No, I understand that. And I also want to say that I understand there's a provision for a sieve analysis when a perk test can't be performed. But from what I've read, that in 310 CMR, sieve analyses are only allowed to be used for the repair or upgrade of an existing system. And I just wondered if somebody could speak to that.
Well, what they're asking for is, there's a requirement that 2 holes be dug. So you dig a hole there and you dig a hole there.
Right.
Because of the conditions out there and what's called perched water, that you live in that area, you know, probably when your home was constructed, or your septic system, when you dig down 5 or 6 feet, you start hitting layers of water that travels sideways. It's perched water. So as soon as you open up the hole, that starts pouring into the hole and pulling some of the material with it, and you get collapse-ins, you get cave-ins, and you try and dig and dig and dig and dig, and it just keeps caving in on you, and you can't get a good soil analysis. They did complete 1 perk and got good material and completed that perk. What they're asking for is that we say you don't have to send a machine back out there and dig again and dig again and dig again, trying to find that second perk test. So that's the variance that they're asking for, is that we would only require the 1 perk test that was successful and did find good soil and a sieve test on the second.
Okay, and
in
I
lieu of the second.
understand what they're asking for, but I guess I'm trying to understand, because when I read this, it says the alternative outlined in the guidance, which means the sieve test, may be used only for the repair or upgrade of an existing system.
That's
When-
just if you waived the one good perk test. If you only did a sieve, that's when that would come to effect, if it's a repair of an existing system.
So you're allowed to have one perk, one sieve, is what you're telling me?
It's up to local control. I mean, they're just asking, like, if we make them, they'll go back out with a machine and they'll dig more holes until they find the second one. They're just saying, hey, save us a little bit of money, let us do the one good hole we're able to find, and a combination of a sieve test on the soils.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I think it's often like a counter variance type of a thing. If it's an upgrade, for new construction, that's the difference. And so we come in here for a full variance. So we are varying the normal regulations. For an upgrade, sieve analysis is pretty routine, but for new construction, it's a variance. It just
All right.
varies one of the two soil tests, the perk tests.
Okay, well, thank you.
All righty, thank you for
I'm
your time.
sorry, it's not the way I read it, but,
That's
Yeah,
okay,
no,
thank you so much.
Okay.
Are there any other members of the public that would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, sure, come on up, sir. The light should still be on. Just state your name for the record, so it gets logged in.
My name's Conrad Watson. I'm Richie's brother. And this has been a really convoluted type situation where Richie and his wife moved here. She was a COVID nurse at the Kent Memorial Hospital in Delaware. They sold their house there and bought this land. And they've been through a lot of delays and difficulties with it. So they haven't been able to really move in yet or build their house. They've been delayed 18 months now. And so the reason they moved up here was Rich fell and had a brain injury, and his wife has been working at the Cape Cod Hospital there. So any consideration to help them out and get this thing moving forward would be greatly appreciated.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you for that. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak on this item? Come forward, state your name for the record.
Hello, my name is Tom Foley. I'm a real estate broker that sold Rich the land, and I did want to add that Kevin Corain, excuse me, when he bought the land, in the process of doing our due diligence, Kevin Corain, and he wasn't able to make it today, but he's since retired, but his secretary said she'd get a letter over to us this afternoon that he'd done the research on it, and it was a buildable lot from a legal perspective. I don't know if that helps this situation or not, but there's a letter out there that I can email to you this afternoon. It's a letter of buildability regarding the zoning in terms of what was the subdivision in 73, et cetera. So that's it.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Staff?
Good afternoon. During our staff meeting last week, there was a request for a floor plan because there are two buildings. We need floor plans for both buildings. So my question to Dan is, the other building that doesn't show a floor plan, is it a two-story building?
Yes,
I see
so
the-
we
I see-
did get over to Sharon the floor plan. I don't know if you got that in your packet yet or not. We do apologize, that didn't go out with the original, but on the 21st, I guess, that went through. Yeah, it's two levels. It's some office and a garage on the first floor and one bedroom on the second.
No, we have that one.
Oh, for the original building, are you saying?
Yeah,
The two-bedroom?
you're only allowed, as you know, because there's a well and septic system on the property, you're limited to a maximum number of bedrooms in the state Title V. You cannot exceed the number of bedrooms allowed because there's a private well on the property. So we need to make sure the floor plans for both buildings are received, and we have to stick you to the number of bedrooms. You have to stick to it, not add more bedrooms in the future. So we need that information for our records.
Oh, yes, 100%, yeah, so there's, we'll make sure you get those, but there's only a few hundred square foot of office, and then the well, not particularly helpful to look at that calculation, but the septic system design has on it a total of 3 bedrooms. And we have 2 and 1, that's accurate, right? So we do have those, you should have them both in the file. Did you not have the house floor plans? Oh, so you just, oh, okay. Yeah, I think we've got them. I've got
I mean, if
the,
if the variance for the piece of property or the approval, if it comes, is for 3 bedrooms, it's really irrelevant how they lay out 3 bedrooms. They're only gonna get 3 bedrooms no matter how they lay it out. They could never come back and say, with a house plan, they couldn't go to the building inspector and say, approve these plans if they're 4-bedroom, because if we only approve 3, that's all they'll ever be able to put. However they configure them is really irrelevant.
It is, but I think we should have the
It's not a
find
variance
them?
request for.
Oh, yeah, no,
it's
we-
not a-
we-
It's
we
not a
found them.
bedroom count variance, so.
We see it now, thank you, Dan. Shows a kitchen, living room, bedroom, master bedroom, and a deck. It looks like it's just one floor?
I
Instead of
think
2?
that's accurate. It's just one level on the main home.
Just one
Is
level.
that- There's a
Okay.
basement and one level. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I miss, yeah, so to be clear, the little
one
accessory
level
structures.
in which building? One level?
The main house, which is 2 bedrooms, has only one
Bigger,
level.
the bigger house.
The big one, yeah.
That's one
yeah.
level.
Master bedroom, yeah, and one other one, and everything else is just open floor plan, yeah.
Yeah, the other building is the garage with an office.
Are these other properties around it, are they all homes, or are they all commercial buildings, or industrial buildings? Or-
So it's a mixture. It's a village business, I think, district. Out back, for many years, was the post office before they moved over to where they are now. And now that is sort of a, well, let's just call it a medical-type use. In front, there's mostly offices. To the west, Sunderland's, I think, have a professional law office and a dwelling on it, so that's more residential. To the east was a chiropractor, Great Marsh Chiropractic, and I'm not sure if there's a home behind him, but it's it's not industrial by any level. It's professional office
Yeah,
and quiet
The
uses.
pictures that show look
Yeah.
like it's not industrial, right?
Well, yeah, it's more of a village business look, yeah. Yeah, there's, this may be a house across the street. Do you folks know if that's a house right across from you? Yeah, so I think directly across is a dwelling. But most of the other ones are like office, professional office. Yeah, the statement is the
Park up
area is
here
set up for
rather
mixed
than
use,
talk in
so
the
that if
back.
you have some office and residential both on a lot, that is allowed.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I didn't realize, but the area is designed for mixed use of the village zoning. It's designed for home office use. That's the original intent of the zoning in that village area. It goes back to the old kind of zoning where you could live upstairs and work downstairs type of thing. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the West Barnstable Village Business District.
So, Dan, on
and
the
it's-
plans, it says the owner of the house is Mary Kay and John Irwin. That's incorrect?
Well, that was the assessed owner until they just recently bought it. So once the assessors change, we'll change it on our plan. But, yeah, if,
Well, it says it was bought 7/8/2021.
that could be the case. When we started the job in '21, they hadn't bought it, so, but that's easily found at the registry. And the prior owners were Irving for many, many years, yeah. They sold it to us. So the deed reference, as you state, would come up with a new deed if you looked it up now. The Plan Book 269, page 38 is still accurate, of course. That's the plan of record for the area.
I just wanted to finish my comments.
Yeah,
the
staff, please continue.
The last comment I had was, if the board is uncomfortable granting this sieve analysis variance, a perk test could be conducted at the time of installation is another avenue that you could take to verify the perk rate. That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you, staff, for that. Members of the board, any comments, questions?
I'd like to hear what you and Tom have to say about this.
I spent 2 hours looking at this. My first impression is like, wow, there's a lot of things on this tiny lot, 3-bedroom and an office. And then when I stepped back and said, well, nowadays, people working from homes, office, it's no big deal. It's small floor. It's the bedroom counts. And then when I look at the soil log, that bothers me because it's so inconsistent throughout the site. I understand why you want to asking for the SIF analysis, but I think I would go back and asking for, like Tom said, do a perk test at the time of the constructions. The other thing that I want to put it into is by the time of the constructions, you have to make sure that the soil material is good. If it's unsuitable underneath the leaching field, you need to replace it. Right now, your design note does not say that. Your design note is only saying that you are replacing the 5-foot unsuitable material surrounding the leaching field.
Well, that would, that's shorthand for saying that you got to go down to a good layer, but.
As a former installer, I mean, that's the way we used to read it, is that it's, it's 5 feet around, and then you keep going down until you reach the suitable soil layer.
Right.
That's what we used to call like an open-ended contract, because we would tell the homeowner, like, look, we're gonna, give you an estimate. We think it's gonna be 150 yards of perk sand we're gonna need to replace, but it could be 350 if we get down there and the soil log was inaccurate and we're digging on this end of the leach field down 20 feet till we hit suitable soil. So, that's how I used to read those, is that you have to keep searching until you find that good perk layer.
I just want to make sure that understanding is there for that interpretation.
We note 11 on the plan, although if you parse the words, but any unsuitable material encountered shall be removed beneath and 5 foot around the leaching facility. So that's how we tried to handle that. But we would never sign off if they tried to not do that.
That's my comments. So I need those things to verify. The perk test and the soil material, unsuitable material to be replaced, underneath that leaching field included.
As conditions.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyone else, comments or questions? I feel the same way as Tom. I mean, just based on, I want to see it open, you know what I mean? And it's really easy to coordinate, especially the staff is really, you're going to already have a machine on site. You're already going to actually have a bigger machine on site because they're going to be anticipating doing the full system. You can find a better soil, do a quick perk test, have your numbers exactly. I'd rather not rely on a sieve because that can just be, a pocket sample. And it's really simple. Dan, I think you've done it many times, just coordinate with the town to come out while they're doing the installation. On a strip out in this area of town, you're gonna run into material that's gotta be taken out. So you're gonna be stripping, you're gonna be punching through layers, you're gonna find that layer, you're gonna have weeping modeling, pouring into the hole as you're kinda digging. So I'd rather coordinate a perk test at the time of installation. I don't think that's gonna hold you guys up at all, and I don't think it's gonna add much additional cost, just, the town fee for the people going out there, and then whatever time delayed, there'll be other multiple tanks to be putting in the ground and other things while, so it's not like the installer can say, oh, well, I gotta charge more because I gotta do a perk at the time. They'll have plenty to do on the site while they're waiting for the town to do their sample and do the perk. I mean, even if it's, a real slow perk, I'd rather have it more verified than a sieve. Because,
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think that's overly burdensome. Like you say, we'll be on the site anyway. It'll just be a little bit of extra time and better safe than sorry, yeah.
So on that end of it, I'm fine, if you're fine with that condition. On the size of the lot, I think, I always go by the 10,000 square feet per bedroom, is my drop down. I understand we have regulations that, capped it at 40,000, but if we've got 36,000 and 3 bedrooms is the max that'll ever be on this lot, and it's not like we need a deed restriction or anything, because you wouldn't be able to come back and try and put a 4th bedroom on one of the additions or anything, because you wouldn't have it as of right on that. So with the 2 variance requests, I would rather change one of them to a perk test at time of installation. And as far as the variance on the 40,000 square foot requirement down to 36,000. I'm fine with that because it's only 3 bedrooms. It's not like you're asking for 4 and squeezing it in. I'm fine with the 3. Is any other comments or questions?
Nope.
I would entertain
So
them.
there's 2 bedrooms in the dwelling and 1 in the one with the business on
Right,
the
so,
first floor.
yeah. Again, we're just saying you can put 3 bedrooms on this lot, however they configure it, that's up to them.
So moved.
A motion I would entertain a motion to approve the variance for the size of the lot and to put a requirement on it for the second variance request to have a perk test done at time of installation.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. That's unanimous, 4. Thank you very much, Mr. Osler.
Thank you very much for
Thank you.
being reasonable with us, and let's just move forward. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for your cooperation. Appreciate it. The next item on the agenda, this is housing repairs deadline extension. Steve and Maggie are Malsena, owners of 504 South Main Street, Centerville, requesting an extension on repairs deadline for rental property violations. Is someone here representing them?
No, I did hear back from him today saying he had confused things and he's out of town. He wasn't able to get anyone to come in and speak for him.
Not the uncle? The uncle's not.
No, the uncle wasn't able, he wasn't able to.
I
him.
talked to the owner in North Carolina on the phone today, and this involves 7 windows that need to be replaced, and he stated on the telephone he's only asking for 7 more days till the tenant moves out at the end of the month. So my question, of course, was how do we know the tenant will be moved out? Well, the tenant's under court order to move out. It's in the eviction process. So I would have no objections to a short extension at this point. It's been going on since July
30, 60, 90, what do you feel?
30.
30-day extension on
And
this?
if he cannot meet that deadline, I would require him to come back.
Everyone fine with that?
Yeah.
I'd entertain a motion to extend this violation for 30 more days, have them come before us at our next meeting. When's that, Sharon?
The 22nd?
The 22nd of December?
But that includes all these violations, right? Not just what Tom mentioned, the windows.
Yeah, all the rental violations, the screens, the torn, things
Yes.
like that, yeah, all of them.
Now, if he doesn't intend to rent it, and he's going to keep it for personal use, does he still need to do all that?
That's only a rental requirement. You
Okay.
can live in whatever
Okay.
condition
Squalor
you want.
Okay.
My wife would be happy to hear that, I have to repair stuff quicker, but. But yeah, if it's not open to the public as a rental, there's a whole different
Okay.
ballgame. Okay, I would entertain a motion to continue for 30 days.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of continuing for 30 days?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you so much. Next item on the agenda, we have a new septic installer request permit, license for Stephen Smith on Hampton, Mass. Is Mr. Smith here? Not that he has to be, but Sharon, can you tell us what the,
Yes, he passed his exam and did all the proper paperwork. His references are coming in very good. He does have licenses in 3 towns right now, Hanson, Halifax, and Pembroke. So I'm still trying to I'd like to have the feedback from them on if there was any issues, but it's all looking good.
any comments or questions?
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve the license.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, license is approved. Okay, the next items on the agenda, this is a show cause hearing for multiple properties for sewer connection for Stewart's Creek. We'll just attack them one at a time, go down the list. First one is owner Fabio De Oliveira, 33 Betty's Pond Road in Hyannis. Anyone representing them? Seeing none, staff, can you give us any update on?
I suggest at this point of rescheduling this hearing for the December Board of Health meeting due to failure to comply with the order to connect to sewer and due to the failure to appear before the Board of Health after being notified to come to this meeting.
Well, their deadline was June of '21. So,
Yeah.
does anyone else have an opinion of enough's enough, or should we give them more?
Why are they not connected? I mean, what,
What's that?
That's what we're
are
here,
we
that's-
just dealing with dead silence? It's not connected and nobody's saying this is what the problem is? Or
Yeah, we have dead silence on this one.
Right, yeah.
why don't we
The-
confiscate
The
the
phone
property?
number we had is not.
well, I didn't want to go
working,
that
yeah.
far yet.
So, yeah. I'm trying to get a different phone number for him, because the
So
phone
what do
number
you
we did
do,
find
Thomas,
isn't
now?
working
Yeah,
anymore.
what are the options?
We will have to hand deliver a notice to the door, tape it on the front door, to come to the next hearing.
What
We
did
don't have a
do
phone
last
number.
time?
Pardon me?
What did we do last time?
We sent out certified letters. And we need people to comply and connect to sewer. This has been going on for too long. And we have a lot of people here.
What is
maybe we
the,
should- Why don't we
what-
call the people that are here first and then go through the ones that are
Well,
not
I don't know
here?
who's here and who's not, so we'll go through the list
Yeah.
first, and then we'll reference those that have come, and then,
Okay.
and then we'll go back, and if you have recommendations for start issuing, daily fines until compliance, if we have multiple tools in our
Right.
toolbox,
Yes.
all the way up to seizing the property, if Dr. Guadagnoli so desires, that we can move there. But, okay, so we'll move to continue this 33 Betty's Pond Road for 30 days at our December 22nd?
20th.
December 22nd, Sharon said.
20th.
Tom says it's 20th. December 20th is the Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday, yeah. I checked my calendar.
Make sure you notify the last person we told the 22nd, so the 20th, they'll be sitting here. So we'll continue that till that meeting. We'll probably have to act on each one individually, so I would entertain a motion to continue for 30 days. Item A,
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, continue?
Aye.
Aye, that one's continued. Next property is the estate of Ramona Mitchell, 38 Betty's Pond Road, Hyannis. The letter was returned. It says Key West. This was, deadline was 2015, 3/30/2015. Anyone here representing that property?
This one will have to get the town attorney involved and the tax office to find out the status of this estate and who is handling the estate and what's the status of the property.
Okay, so staff will follow up on town attorney and assessors to give us a status on this. Again, I would entertain a motion to continue for 30 days, to our 12/20 meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye, that's continued. Next item, C. Thomas and Michelle Russell, 44 Betty's Pond Road, Hyannis, 315, extended to 11/27/19. Anyone here representing Russell? Seeing no one. What's the status on this one, Tom? Or Sharon?
Oh, Sharon has some updates on this one.
So, Mr. Russell has passed on, and Michelle was just recently, the last month, had the property put over in her name, so now she's, doesn't see an issue with her finally going over and getting her financing that she's going to get through the tribal financing. So that's like a given that should be able to be approved. She just needed it in her name, and then she'll move forward.
So we should give them 60 days, 90 days?
She's still going to run into the issue with the contractor scheduling, but yeah, if we give her
Well,
nine.
a lot of that is, I'd like them to come back in if they have a contractor under contract, if they,
Right.
I don't care if the contractor says, I can't get to you for 6 months, at least come to us with a signed contract, then I think we'll be a little bit more understanding of the situation. So,
How about
Yeah.
60 days?
yeah, why don't we continue this one for 60 days? That'll give her time to line up the financing, maybe even a contract. And if you speak with her, let them know whatever they can provide to us will help the situation. So I'd entertain a motion to continue that for 60 days.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor for continuing? That's approved for 60-day continuance. Next item, Helen Gallagher, 47 Fiddler's Circle, Hyannis, connect to sewer.
Yeah,
That
according to
one's
town,
completed.
town engineer wrote to us, said that that's now connected to town sewer.
Now, that's what I call action. There we go. Next item, Kenneth, yeah, exactly. Kenneth Tomiason, 96 Greenwood Ave, Hyannis. That one, is someone here represent that? come on forward. The note here says has permit, so there's hope. There's hope.
And I do have a green light. I am Kenneth Tomasian. Hello, everybody. Hi, Sharon.
Hello.
Yeah, so we've got a dig safe number and a permit, abandonment permit, and I'm just waiting on getting my friend Brett Ellis over there to do it.
Okay, that's great. We will, do you think maybe 60 days you'll have it in the ground?
That should be plenty. He told me the week of December 5th, and that he'd guarantee it would be done by the 12th, so
All right, we're
60
going to
days would
continue
be
this,
more
then I'll make a motion to continue this for 60 days. If for some reason something happens, he gets materials delay, whatever, just contact Sharon and let her know so that when it comes up at our meeting 60 days from now, you don't have to come in. We'll
Okay.
see that you're still trying and you're closer, but you just need a little more time. We'll probably kick it then too.
Yes, and I just want to say thank you to all of you for being patient with me through this whole thing, and we're real close.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd entertain a motion to continue this one for 60 days, waiting on the contractor.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's continued for 60 days.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Next item is Leonid and Tatiana Sukernik, 121 Greenwood Avenue, Hyannis. Anyone here representing that property?
Okay.
Any update on that, Sharon or Tom?
Yes, let me flip over to that. 121. So basically, she's explained that she is now she's a sole owner, and she does still need to do the work of getting a contractor and so forth, but she has had, today she would have been in, but she's sick. She is working to get a contractor. Lost her mother recently in Ukraine and so forth, and so she just is planning to go forward with this and sounds earnest.
30 days and then come back with at least a permit or,
I
you
think
know,
that'll be
a contract?
Yeah.
Let her know
Okay.
that we'll give her 30 more days, but by next meeting, we'd like to see at least a contract in hand with a installer and a
Yes.
permit. Great, thank you. Entertain a motion to continue that item for 30 days. I have a motion and a second to continue for 30 days. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you so much. Next item is Karen and Christopher Harvey, 197 Greenwood Avenue, Hyannis. Anyone here representing that property? Come forward, sir. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Chris Harvey from 197 Greenwood Ave. I have a install permit and abandonment permit, and the contractor is Doug Brown. I'm just waiting on delays with him being able to get to it at this point.
60 days, 90 days? What do you think you need?
He's telling me in the month of November, but I mean, I think the 60 days, I think we can have it done by then.
All right.
Yeah.
I would entertain a motion for 60-day continuance.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to continue this for 60 days. All in favor?
Aye.
So just, you don't have to come back in at the 60 days when you see this come up on a hearing, just
Okay.
funnel anything, the
Yeah,
permit.
I'll keep in contact
Yeah,
with your
keep
office,
in
too.
contact with the
Yeah,
office, let them know.
absolutely. Yep.
If this is, for some reason, there's any more delay.
Sure.
Again, same thing, just communicate so we know
Absolutely,
what's
yep,
going on.
that's my intention.
Appreciate your
Yep.
time coming
Yeah,
in.
no
Thank
problem. I
you.
appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next item, Joanne Diaz-Crippen, 17 Hill Street in Hyannis. Had an extension to 22819. Anyone here representing that property? What's the background on this one?
So I did speak with Scott, her son, today, and, let's see. He had a contract written up, they haven't signed it yet, but he did get approval recently for the funding. So he's planning to sign that contract and get the work done early December. That's what his hope is.
Did you have something you wanted, Paul?
So I was just saying, could we skip to this gentleman?
We can go down the list, sure. Oh, let's finish this one. So why don't we do 30 days on that? Then even if it's not in the ground yet, they can submit the signed contract, the permit, the abandonment, all that stuff, so that we know it's definitely coming.
Okay.
And then if 30 days, you can let them know they don't actually have to come in, if they can just provide the paperwork. So we don't have to make a ruling on it.
30 days, okay.
A motion to 30-day extension, a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's continued. What is your name, sir?
Jordan.
Which one's that?
Oswald
M,
Jordan.
Oswald Jordan, okay. We'll jump to you. I'm sorry, sir, I don't know who's who, so we're just going down the list, but I don't want to keep you any longer than you have to. Oswald Jordan, 54 Point Lane in Hyannis. Water shut off, no, using the property. The extension was till 12/17/20. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Problem was, I had a contract, and I've got a copy of that. That was with Ours changed its name, but I've still been in touch with them. The problem was finding the tank in the yard there. Nobody wanted to come over and do that. So we dug up the whole backyard and finally found it. It's 10 feet deep, 5 wide, and needed to be filled with, I came into the Board of Health. They told me that I had to put something in there, stone. I've got receipts, a receipt here, that Landers delivered that last Friday. Friday, late morning, myself and my grandson were trying to put some of that aggregate in there. It's 22 stairs down, 26 down to the next level. There's no way to come around either side of the house to get in. Years ago, and I'm talking, 20 years ago, there was a way to come in, but they built another house that took that away. So the only way you can come in is to go down these stairs. The stairs, each stairs is 22 inches wide. Finally found someone that had a wheelbarrow that can be able to come down those stairs. Got that. We put in, I don't know how many wheelbarrows. We spent all day Saturday and probably about 3 or 4 hours on Friday. We intend to be back down there this Friday and Saturday, all day, both days. I don't know how long it's going to take to fill it. Had a 12-inch 2x4, put it down the hole after spending all that time, and it looked like a bit about that much, okay? So, again, I can shoot, if you want the receipts, I
Now,
can
is
show
this,
you that.
you're just talking about the abandonment of the existing system? Is
Right.
the property being abandoned?
No, it has not been used. When I say used, nobody slept in there overnight at all, I'd say in the last 5 years at least.
It says here the water is shut off?
The water is off. Maybe it's shut off with you guys, but I had the meter off so it couldn't be used if for some reason one of a family member got in there. But nobody's in there now because I changed the locks on it completely. So I'm the only one that has the keys at the moment.
So the requirement to hook up to the sewer is really not based on the use of the home.
I understand that.
So-
But I'm letting you know that there's nobody there to cause any problems as far as putting things into the tank, which, again, there's water on both sides of the house.
Because once the
et cetera.
tank is in the process of being abandoned,
Right.
the property is condemned.
Right.
It's not habitable for use, and so the building department would follow up on this and put a condemnation on the house so that no one could ever live there until it's hooked up to sewer.
Right.
Because
No,
now
I
there's
understand that.
no other
problem.
option.
No, you can believe that's not going to happen. Did put a roof on it this past fall, okay? Just because it started leaking and to protect the property itself, so. But that's it. In the process, as soon as that's filled, the contract is trying to get any of them to come in. It's a time thing. Like I said, I can show you the original contract I had. But the one thing that bothered me was nobody had a good way to find the tank itself. We had to literally dig up the whole yard to find this tank.
Well, that's one aspect of it, but that's the abandonment of the
Yeah,
existing system.
but we had,
The
like I
plumbing
said,
for the-
I've got the contract.
The plumbing
with me
for
if
the
you wanna
sewer
see
can be rerouted within the house and go out the front of the house, and that's where the sewer connection is, correct?
it. Yeah, it was going to go up, come into the side where the main piece
Yeah,
was.
front side, wherever, but
Yeah.
it's rerouting. So there's two different aspects to hooking up to sewer. One
Well-
is you have to abandon the existing system that's there and fill it in, which you seem
Okay.
to be in the process of. But the second thing that we're more concerned about is getting the property hooked up to town sewer.
I was told that it had to be filled before they could do anything as far as the connecting.
That's not true. I mean, and
Okay, I'm hearing that now, but I mean.
I'm not telling you what to do, but in similar properties that I've dealt with like that, we used flowable fill, which is basically just pumped concrete. But it's much cheaper than concrete. It's basically sand
Yeah, I
that's
know.
had a lot of water
Yeah,
mixed in
yeah,
with it and a
yeah.
hardening agent that they can pump in a pipe, a
Yeah, I know
flexible
how
pipe
to
that
do
big
that.
around, go down.
Yep.
You wouldn't have to shuttle anything back and forth, and it would be filled up in about 15 minutes.
Well, I've
But-
got it there now, so.
Yeah. But
I've got
that's one aspect. of it.
7.2
So my,
cubic.
my question is what is your intention to ever hook up? Are you hoping
Yeah,
to
oh,
hook
yeah,
up to sewer?
it's like I said, I had the original contract.
Okay.
And the holdup was, I was told, and I probably should have, I don't know who to ask on that, but why, it didn't make sense to me that was a reason to
Well, I would-
hold it up.
I would
but
like you
I
to
was told
call,
that.
I would like you to call, a few more different contractors.
I called others,
and
and
get-
others
try and-
weren't interested, so.
Okay, find somebody, because the property does have to be hooked up eventually, at some point in time. So I guess
and
that's what I'm
it's
looking for,
not
is
a-
that we've got, under the regulations, the properties have to hook up to sewer if sewer is
Right.
available. Sewer is available, you need to hook this property up. I understand there's no flow, there's no one living there, anything like that, but then the property becomes an abandoned property, and it's gonna be dealt with in an entirely different way that I don't think you want to happen.
I heard you when you
So-
first said that.
Right,
Thank
so
you.
what's gonna happen is that once the Board of Health gets confirmation that your septic has been filled in and abandoned, they're gonna send notification to the building department that there's a home with no sewer outlet,
Right.
and then it has to be condemned.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't think, and then when you try and refinance or do anything else with it, you're gonna have problems, because the bank's gonna look at it and go, it's a condemned property.
Yeah.
So the value is gonna plummet. So I'm just kinda giving you some advice. here.
The cash was there to do the
Be a
work.
little bit more diligent and try and get someone to hook this up as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'll have to,
How much additional time do you think you need?
I don't know. The contractors, everybody I tried to get to do anything, the job was too small, they said, for them. So they, especially coming around the back and all that. And I didn't realize that what you said a minute ago, I probably would have saved some money too, maybe.
Yeah,
but-
I mean, the abandonment is one aspect.
Yeah, I know, I
So
understand that completely now.
Getting hooked
So
up from the
now,
sewer is not that hard.
I'm gonna go
because-
back to that original one and say, look, I was before you folks. They told me that has nothing to do with the hooking up, okay, part. And I probably within, well, we're running into the holiday here. I mean, I can try them tomorrow, but as soon as I can. And like I said, if you want, I got a copy of the old contract.
No,
So
I-
it wasn't- There was
I
no, there was no not doing it. It was hard to get it done efficiently, so.
So my feeling is that would 60 days just
Yeah,
enough
no,
time to
yeah,
come
oh,
back
yeah,
and give us
yeah.
something more concrete? Like,
Yeah, I
here's
can-
my signed contract.
Right.
Here's the time frame, and if you need some more time, we'll be happy to do that. But we can't have this nothing happening.
No, I
So I just
appreciate
want you
that.
to understand the severity of that, is that you've
Understand
got to
that.
get going on that.
Right.
So
Okay.
moved, 60 days.
Don? You have any questions? I see a puzzled look behind that mask.
It's a house. That nobody's lived in? No, for a while, right. What's your thought? It's gotta be falling apart. No, not at all.
And the plan is to put sewer in and then you're gonna live there, or?
I'll move down there eventually, because I will be the person moving down. I have other properties, but I'm living in Brockton, have been for 45 years, so. And my move would be down here. And that was one of the holdups, along with a whole bunch of other things that you don't need to hear about, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's no flow, so we
Yeah,
appreciate that.
that's
So,
the main thing.
Yeah,
okay?
and I'm willing to give you leniency on that, because there's no flow. That's the
Right.
main concern for us. But as a friend, or, give you good advice, don't let your property
Thank
fall
you
into
for that.
abandonment, because
Thank
the
you very
value will
much.
plummet. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you 60 days, come back to us. You don't have to show up in person, just send it to Sharon, or mail it to them, or email it, whatever. Just
come
show
down
them
anyway.
the signed contract, and if you're still having troubles finding contractors, then, Board of Health can reach out and start to, we can start to move contractors to say, look, you have to respond. Part of your license in our town is, you have to respond, and if you don't, we might have you before us for a show cause hearing. Why aren't you responding, and why should we bother issuing you a license in our town?
Right.
So that's what we can
appreciated.
do on our
Yeah.
end.
I mean, I understand with the building that's going on and all that, they look at this job and they look at that job and say,
Understood.
forget you.
But there's a
do
bunch
the
of other
others
guys out
over
there
here."
that are
Yeah.
they're not in the big sewer work.
Right.
They do the residential
Right.
stuff, and I'm sure
Okay.
they'd be happy to give you a price.
All right,
Thank you so much for your time. So
You want a copy of this where the,
we can give it to they'll have that in the file. Sharon can take it and stick it in the file, so when you come back. So did we have a motion in a second, or continue a vote or anything? 60-day continuance?
Yeah.
All those in favor? Aye. 60 days.
And thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, sir.
Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas.
We'll see you after all that's done.
I'll be down here, I might not see you folks, but I'll be here.
Is that
Bring
gentleman?
a shovel, come on over.
And, sir, what's your name? Why don't you come on up, which property is this? 35 Point Lane.
Yep.
Matthew Conley?
Correct.
Your deadline was the 18th. So where are you at?
Like everybody else, I'm trying to get people. The guy, Doug Brown, actually called me, said he's gonna come by next week or whatever. Most of mine, basically, though, is financing. That's what it comes down to. So I'm trying to get people to come by, and Bortolotti came by. I don't know, somebody else out of Yarmouth came by. And has looked at it. Even after I get a quote from those guys, it's gonna come down to financing. I don't know what I'm gonna do at the moment, so.
Have you looked into the hookup program? Because I know it's have to be for a failed system, but isn't the county now appropriated monies for these sewer hookups
I
for
don't know
the
anything
loan
about it.
programs?
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, Barnstable County, years ago had a loan program for people that had failed septic systems.
Okay.
And they've expanded that, some more monies have become available. They've expanded that into helping people that need to finance the sewer connection. And especially for Stewart's Creek, where you have the grinder, the E1
Yeah.
grinder pump, and it's, can be pricey. And it's, added on and can be spaced out over 20 years, financing.
Where do I find that information? Because I went on the town's website and I couldn't find it.
Now, this is county.
This is
Oh,
Barnstable County.
Yeah.
okay.
Sharon, do you have the contact information for the county loan program?
It's right on their front website.
On their
yeah.
website,
So
yeah.
you just need to make sure you go to the county.
So Barnstable
No,
County, not the
Barnstable
town of
County, not
Barnstable.
town of Barnstable. Barnstable County
Okay.
is,
If you want to.
the whole Cape and southeast Mass.
Yeah.
And they do
it's-
have really good loan programs, low interest rates, and they'll kick it down, 20 years, 30 years, whatever you need for financing on that.
Then
for
it's not,
programs.
then it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned.
So
I
what
was
I'd
just
like to
trying
see, would it be all right if we continue this for 60 days? And at that 60 days,
I
you don't have
guess
to
is-
come in, and it doesn't have to be in the ground. I mean, that'd be great if it
Yeah.
was. But within 60 days, I'd like to see a signed contract.
Did they make decisions that quickly?
The contractor.
Oh, no, I don't mean the contract, I mean the.
Yeah, the contractor will hold that until you get financing secured. They might say, well, we might have to increase the price a little bit, 30 days, 60 days, but
Gotcha.
I'd like to see more than just, I've called these guys, I want to see a signed contract, because, it has been
Yeah,
since
yeah,
2018.
I know it's been a while, it's been a long
So,
time.
we're trying to be understanding,
Yeah.
but we're also trying to be firm.
Yep, no, I get it.
So I'm going to recommend 60 days continuance. At that point, you don't have to come back in, but I'd like to see you submit to Sharon before our meeting, so that when we look down, there's a copy of a signed contract with a contractor, and then an update on where you're at with the financing, like waiting for the county to hear, we're in the queue, and we can also contact the county loan officer and program and just see, is this individual in your queue, and what's the time frame?
Okay,
All righty?
yeah,
Seem fair?
seems fair.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much for your
yeah.
time coming in. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much.
So I would entertain, I gotta get it out first. You gotta entertain a motion for a 60-day continuance. So moved.
Second?
I have a motion, a second. All those in favor? Aye. That's unanimous. 60-day continuance on that one.
If you can go to letter P, I just want to explain, I've had 2 phone calls on this one.
Sure.
Number 112 Stetson Street is connected to sewer. They're waiting for Eversource to connect the electricity. The installer called me and said it's all ready to go. So if you could take this off your agenda
Yeah,
as connected.
that's an Eversource thing. We can take,
Yeah,
that's item P.
item P, yes.
Okay, yeah.
And there is another one that Sharon can report on, a woman that came to the board several years ago, received an extension. She came into the office yesterday and dropped off about 30 pages. Do you want to explain that one of the address?
Patricia Fallon.
The one that
Well,
dropped
let's
off
hold,
the book.
yeah, hold on a second. Let's go back to going down the list.
Okay.
And just since we took care of people who are sitting here waiting, let's just go down the list so we get it. So the next item would be I, John O'Neill Senior, 2 Keating Road, Hyannis. Had extensions to 2016. What's the update on that? Sure.
Some of these go back to 15. How come we haven't seen them before? Or why didn't they go before us?
You make sure your light's on, Don, sorry.
Yeah, we've had a number of people come before this board and get extensions, like like the woman that came in yesterday and dropped off 30 pages.
There's a number that don't have extensions listed too, and so, I mean, like,
Well, I think this one now, they're doing John O'Neill, 2 Keating Road, Hyannis. I remember that. I went out to Keating Road a couple of times. I was the chairman then, and he came in here, and the vote was 2-1 to give him a 2-year extension. I was the one that said no, but it didn't go through. So this guy has been here before.
but there seems to be a pretty long gap. Are we,
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why some of this stuff is, from 4 years ago.
Yeah.
2018. I mean, they should have been before us long before now, but better
Well,
late than never. We're
I guess,
we're clamping down
but
now.
then all of a sudden, there's
I know.
plenty of them.
Yeah, I'll give you some more examples.
It'd be the same thing with the next sewer project. We have the same.
Well, but it seemed, I just kind of wonder the message.
And
we're sending.
some of these people are really stuck as
Oh,
far
yeah.
as finances.
Oh,
And they see the migrants getting all kinds of cash and everything, and.
Sidebar.
We should get some of that cash to help some of our own people.
okay.
So this item, 2 Keating Road, Hyannis, can you give us an update on this?
So I don't have any new information from him. I hadn't, we just have his mailing address, so he hasn't responded back, unfortunately.
Is the mailing address Connecticut?
I thought,
No.
no, that was a different one. That
Oh, that's
he
a different
he did
one?
get connected, the house that you went to, that finally did get connected.
Oh, okay.
Nope, he's right in Hyannis.
So you sent him a certified letter. Did we get it back saying it was delivered?
Yes, we did get, we did not get it back as undeliverable, which.
Okay.
Well, when do these go to the
Legal?
town attorney?
Right now, whether we make the recommendation, and that's when it happens. So this would be one that I would say, I would make a recommendation that we refer this to legal and assessors for action. I have a motion.
You're on letter I, correct?
Yes, this is 2 Keating Road, John O'Neill Senior.
Refer
We have a
to legal.
motion on the floor to refer this to legal and assessors for action.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to refer to legal and assessors for action. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? I didn't see you raise your hand, Paul. Are you on?
No, I said
Oh, you said,
aye.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. So that's a unanimous. Next item on the agenda is Anthony Moran, 44 Murray Way, Hyannis, 2018. What's the status on that one?
Again, this one I haven't heard anything from. There's 3 owners involved. They must all be siblings, I'm guessing, because they have different last names, but I haven't heard.
A certified letter was sent out and returned, accepted?
And was not returned, is how I view it, yeah.
So
So
they're
they
aware of it, they
received it,
can't
yeah.
claim ignorance. Okay. This also, I would entertain a motion to refer to legal and assessors for action. I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to refer to legal and assessors for action. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous. Next item,
Did you say referred to legal and something else?
assessors.
And assessors?
Yeah, because
Oh,
assessors will,
just to see if they have any other
Right.
place to
any
contact?
other,
Yeah.
if there's any actions on the property. Some are in probate, some are, whatever, and assessors will know more than us.
Yeah. And assessors.
I think
That's
the lawyer.
legal. That, yeah. So legal will, I believe the process is then they'll start to contacting them directly and let them know this is what we're going to do if you don't. And then it will get kicked back to us to say, how much do you want, like $100 a day, $50 a day, fine. And then, as a sidebar, when most judges are gonna be like, come on, what are you doing? $50 a day, that's not the town's, but we have to have something, so we have to have a starting point. So the legal will hesitantly, go after someone, but it's the next step, in the process.
Paperwork the lady dropped off?
Unfortunately, it's, when you kick something from 2018, that's what we have to do. So the next one, I believe, was K, Elaine Busius, I apologize, 32 Payne Avenue in Hyannis. What's the update on that?
So this woman was sick today, so she said she wasn't going to make the meeting. She did bring in a package and drop it off late Friday. That unfortunately she didn't summarize the events of it all. It's kind of all over the board as far as the paperwork. It's not
Was there
all
anything
to
in it
do
that
with
was like
sewer and,
was there anything in it that was like a copy of a contract signed by a contractor, or?
She said there is a estimate she was given, no contract signed, no.
Are you talking about 32 Payne Avenue right now?
32 Payne, yeah.
This is this property.
Right.
Yep.
There is a long list of objections in this package that she dropped off yesterday. There's many pages here, bear with me, but she objects to, she has a contract for $2,400 with Cape Cod Septic from July of 2020, but has failed to connect to sewer. We really need her to explain all this. This is like 30 pages of objections.
All right, why don't you, when people deliver stuff, on a
Yeah,
Friday, it's
they need
it's
to come.
outside of our ability to get it to the members in time to have them review, so why don't we continue this one for 30 days to our 12/20 meeting?
I agree. Have her come and explain this package.
Make copies of that, scan them and send them to all the members so they'll have it, and then have her come in and explain why it's not been hooked up since 2018 on that.
I agree.
So I would entertain a motion to continue for 30 days.
Second.
I have a motion, a second to continue for 30 days. All those in favor? Aye. That's unanimous.
Okay.
N, Fatima Hill, 6468 Seabrook Road, Hyannis. Deadline was 10/30/20.
Returned undeliverable building was sold. That's what the notes say.
Do I have that on the right thing?
Oh, I don't have my iPad. It should say on the town website.
I don't think
if
that
it was
would-
sold.
It's, sometimes it takes a while to update,
Yeah, they're
so,
quick now, though. They're
why don't
very
we
quick
continue
now.
this for 30 days then and get clarification on ownership?
Oh, I know what that is. Oh. But yeah, that has to do with, Caribbean Realty was working out of a building that was sold. So the main contact that we're sending it to, we don't have a good address now for them.
Well, why don't you refer this to assessors for an accurate address?
Yep.
Because they usually get a tax address to send the tax bills to.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
unfortunately, a lot of those are to the mortgage
I know,
company.
just,
Yeah,
do
but
the
I'll
best we can.
double-check
The
with them.
the mortgage company, maybe put in the letter that, if this, if this property is not, if this, sewer connection is not addressed, this property could fall into a lien situation, which might get a mortgage company's attention.
I'll look that one up when I get home.
So
Well, I do know that,
refer to
this is the address right now
assessors, and then
listed under
assessors will,
assessing.
can actually pull the field card from the Barnstable Land Court.
Where's
Because those are instantaneous at the closing. Those are filed instantaneously, so we'll know exactly who the owner is right at the closing. You ever go to the county court, do a land closing at the courthouse?
No,
Yeah, they do it right there. So it's stamped and it goes right into the files. So it's instantaneous, you'll know exactly who the property owner is. We can research it from there. So a motion to continue this for 30 days, have it referred to assessors for an accurate mailing address, and then make sure that that gets sent out, returned receipt requested.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to continue for 30 days. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next one, Michael Tangier, 170 Seabrook Road, Hyannis. Any update on that? Sure, go ahead, sorry.
This one is from December 2018 with no response.
Well,
So,
I don't know to go to the lawyer too.
yeah.
Hold on, Sharon's digging up some stuff on it. No, nothing on that? So no response since 2018? Did you send out a certified and it was accepted?
Yeah, it didn't come back to us.
Okay, so they know. Okay, entertain a motion to refer to legal and assessors for action.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second to refer to legal and assessors for action. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Next property, Thomas Holmes Senior, 38 Woodbury Avenue, Hyannis, extended to 1/12/21.
I
Any
talked to
update on that?
I talked to Mr. Holmes on the telephone. He is disputing the sewer line is not constructed properly in the road. I contacted DPW. That's not true. According to DPW, Mr. Holmes wants to have an on-site meeting at his property to show me what, I said, well, it's buried now. What can I see? He still wants to have a meeting at his property. He insists. We invited him to this hearing. He failed to appear at this hearing.
So usually when, and it's not in every case, but I know when I was involved in public works contracting, there's photos that are required on a daily basis. You know, as you progress putting sewer mains in and sewer, they take pictures of the stubs, they take pictures of the work that's being done. Can you contact DPW Engineering and see if they have any of that for this particular property? And then,
I'll contact the town engineer again and suggest if he request any photos they may have.
any information, as built as to, you know, what they have and what he's disputing. But, I mean, if he was asked to come in and explain it and he refused.
He needs to tie into sewer just like everyone else
Yeah.
on that street.
Yeah, so, just in case, but, then I would, entertain a motion to, refer to legal and assessors for action.
Yes, so moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Good.
Patricia Fallon, 256 Ocean Avenue, Hyannis.
That's 20, deadline
22.
is May of 22, you're right. So that one is, out of this entire list, is the only one that's this year. Deadline is this year.
Did you get extra stars for that or something?
An extra star, one extra star.
She's hooked up?
And
No.
even,
No, still not hooked up, but, you know, she's not 5 years out, she's only like 1 year out.
Half a year.
but she is doing well.
Mike went by the house 5 years.
12.
Sharon, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Sharon, can you
She
give us
has-
an update on that?
she- Yes, she has made a deposit on her contract. We have a contract, and they have told her they expect to put it in the second or third week of December.
Oh,
All
good.
right, so let's do a 60-day inspection on that one.
Get a star.
Entertain a motion to
Give us
continue for
that.
60 days.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to continue that for 60 days. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Boy, I'm gonna sleep tonight.
And this last one says Rosemary Butler, 15 Point Lane, Hyannis. Has contractor extended until sold. Now new owner is installing. Do you have an update on that?
Yes. Let's see. Their scheduled date is very soon. I think it's December 8th. Yeah, they're moving right along. They did very well. So, it was originally under Rosemary Butler, and she sold it, the new owner. They're putting this right in. So,
60 days, you think?
yes.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion for 60-day continuance.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to continue for 60 days. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That completes that list of hearing. Oh, sure.
Failed septic system stops the selling of the house, right?
No, a failed septic system would then, the two parties would have to enter into some sort of agreement. Either the monies that are 150% of the money would be put in escrow
Right, I
after
wasn't
the
bringing it on
sale
the hearing 'cause
to
she's already
make
out.
sure that the
Okay.
system was repaired. If sewer is available, then similar to that, you know, because you might have an estate that has no money other than the value of the home. So they do the closing first with the understanding that they'll have a contract in place with a contractor. They'll take 150% of that and put it in escrow, and then the attorney that controls the escrow will wait and ensure that it's installed, and then once it's installed, they pay the contractor, and then any balance that's left over, they give back to the seller.
So it's similar.
Right, right.
Except
Two parties
somebody-
can enter into that contract, yes.
somebody can buy a house with no financing and not have fix a septic system.
And if no inspection is done, then,
No rule or anything in this state that
Right.
makes you have a perfect septic system when you sell a house. If you don't have a mortgage, the inspections come because of the banks. The banks require.
We don't require it.
well, no, Title V requires
Transfer-
the sale of a property.
When you
that
transfer the ownership.
when you transfer ownership, an inspection is supposed to be done.
Right.
Enforcement would come from the mortgage company. So if two parties enter into a real estate agreement and the property transfers, Board of Health would never know about it because nobody ever contacted them.
I got
But-
one right across the street from me.
But if the mortgage company is involved, they won't close without the certificate of compliance. It's still required, you're supposed to do it, but it's self-policing. Unfortunately, that's, you know, one of the loopholes the state legislature wrote into the inspection legislation.
Maybe that'll change.
So the next item on the agenda is the minutes from our October 25th meeting, 2022. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes?
I
Any
wasn't here.
comments or questions?
Abstain, I wasn't here.
I'll second it. I have a motion, a second to approve the minutes from our October 25th, 22 meeting. All those in favor? You can vote on it even if
Yeah.
you weren't here.
Aye.
To approve it, yep. That's unanimous. I just, before we call the meeting, I just want to have a quick conversation about the time of our meetings. Dr. Lutzkow has found it increasingly more difficult to get here for 3 o'clock because that's the end of his shift and he has to drive here. So it was easier when it was Zoom because he could just quickly zip into an office and grab a computer. I just wanted a little discussion, you know, because as chair, I have to make a decision, but I just wanted some input, pro or con, if we move the meetings maybe to 4. There's some logistics involved. We'd have to find out the availability of the room first and staff and everything else, but I just want to start the conversation. Is anybody got any opinion one way or the other about a 4 o'clock meeting instead of 3? Okay, we got 1 for 3.
The
I like
only,
3 too, but I would, you know, if the majority wanted to change it, I'd do that.
the only
I think
concern I
3 is
have is,
better.
just like today, I
Better
have a
for
double
everyone.
header.
Right.
Board of Health and then the Concom. If you start at 4, then it's cutting short to my meeting. I have to go back to my office and run my meetings. So that's my concern.
Your
Okay.
meeting starts at what time?
6:30.
6:30, yeah.
Tell you the truth, I think that perhaps we might want to suggest that the town come into the 21st century.
And be able to do both, I know.
We run most of our meetings
Multiple combination.
with, here, come to the Martin's conference room if you want to, and if not, there'll be Zoom.
Right.
And it works extraordinarily well. It's not an issue, and it would make it easy for Dan. You know, to be honest, if Zoom was an option today, rather than sit 10 feet away from
I know.
Paul, I probably would have just.
Okay.
Is 3:30 an option just to try to help out Dr. Lesko in the meantime, or is that still not? a
Yeah,
good
I mean,
time?
as chair, I have to make the decision because, I'm pro tem, so I decided.
I'd much rather have in-person meetings.
Yeah, no, I understand that, and I agree. I think the in-person, if we can maybe look into technology department and maybe the town manager and just ask them?
I know that they were working on some tests, doing hybrids with the town council. I don't know what the results were lately, but I knew they were having a lot of issues in the beginning.
Maybe just as a follow-up. I mean, I like people that volunteer to have an opportunity to come in, and if it's interfering with their work, I feel bad, and then so I want to try and be flexible, and I want to try and help people, so. But it's, I'm not going to make a decision right now. I just wanted to kind of start the thought process going in, and then maybe get some input from technology and see if it's even an option, maybe down the road, and move
As
it
far as
around.
I understand it, the hybrid mode is not ready yet.
Right, and it's not the technology doesn't exist, it's melding it with the TV.
Right.
Channel 18 is what I was told, is that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, you lose a lot of visibility. With the TV, it's from far away, and
Right.
it
So-
doesn't
Because
work as well.
if it is a remote, I don't have a problem of doing at 4. I don't have to drive back and forth.
Right.
Then I can then I keep my 6:30.
Yeah, no, I understand. All righty, well, thank you for your input on that, and I'll keep you posted. So with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you so much.
Thank you.